Okay, sorry, I went on like a huge rant at the end of that last recording, but I felt like it really needed to be said. And I just like I have to give my thoughts when I really have them. Because sometimes I'm just enjoying the story and I feel like I'm not giving my thoughts every 2 seconds, which isn't really conductive for you, to even have the recording in the first place. So I'm just trying to also make sure that I'm explaining myself well. Shizu's heart nearly burst out of her chest. Don't worry, Granny. I'll always be there for Sei. I'll protect him from all the stuff that wants to hurt him. She was strong. She was important. She was needed. Yeah, see? And like I had that feeling. And like now it's being tied to she feels like her entire identity, like who she is being Sei's protector. And it's like it's okay for her to be Shizu the person and play the role as his protector, but she cannot be only that. Like she isn't only that. Even now, like even if her whole life has been that, that doesn't mean that's who she is and who she will always be. And I just like I fear that's not good for anybody. And it's interesting because Shizuka and Sei have like very heavily like this is a fantasy world, but very heavily Japanese like roots and aesthetics tied to them. And I think this is a very common thing in like servitude and like sticking with the young master for like ever. I think they tackled that in Danganronpa 2 was like a big thing that they did. And it's like it was kind of romanticized there and like it's a kind of a cool idea, this idea of like this person being somebody else's sword, but it's also very sad. Like, we've definitely outgrown that sort of deal and like everybody is their own person and you can play a role, but you don't have to be only that. And like if you're not that, that doesn't mean that you're no longer like a human being. And I hope there's some self-discovery here and Shizuka finds something that makes her her and doesn't have to always be tied to being Sei's sword. um Granny was depending on her. Like I'm sorry, I'm like the story's like provoking so many thoughts in my head at the moment. And like I think that's something I really like about Liam now, like even more, is because he is that for Sei as well. Like he's in the same boat as Shizuka, but he doesn't see himself as the ancestor and like that's all he is. Like he doesn't go, oh, that's like he's not only a noble son, he's not only a good swordsman, like he's also just Liam the person, on top of that. And I think if that is still true and that holds water, like that theory or what I just said holds water, then it's like him and Shizuka are actually really good because they come from the same place and they have a lot of the same experiences and have known each other for a long time. So they have that thing that her and Sei do, like that familiarity and companionship and stuff, but it's a lot more equal. Because Sei might see Shizuka as an equal, or even see her as greater than him, but Shizu will never see Sei as her. Like she sees him as an equal, but she inadvertently like looks down on him or feels like she has to protect him. You know what I mean? Like even if it's not intentional. So yeah, there's a lot of dynamics here, a lot of interesting developments to be made, so many different routes you can go and so many ways to tackle this topic, and I've been happy with the way that you've done it and I think you're going to deliver on it just fine. I just like, oh god, I'm just so worried. I just want good things for Shizu. Sei suddenly materialized next to the table. His arrival was silent as a ghost. The boy took a jar of fruit preservatives and dumped almost half of the container onto the 2 slices of bread that had been. Bro, chill. He inhaled the food in 3 bites. I'm ready. Jesus Christ, alright. Shizu hurriedly ate the rest of her breakfast before jumping from the table, pulling Sei to the door. Granny will be going now. Bye. Bye bye. The boy waved lethargically with his free hand. Oh, bye bye, I should say. Have a good day at school. The sun was already high in the sky, but the weather was still cool enough that the walk to school wasn't unpleasant. The 2 children strolled along the well-worn dirt road, one leading briskly with a spring in her step, while the other ambled a step behind. The girl suddenly slowed down, dropping back to the walk in pace with the boy. Say, I've got something to show you. The little girl dug around her bag before brandishing. And like, I don't think this is unintentional, or it could be. Like she's a child, so childhood wonder and all that. But like, she just doesn't. She does smile or whatever, but she's just not as like joyous, and which is harder to do because she's like an adult, and I get it, But it's just like seeing her be being herself on. I don't know what the word is. On like no holds barred, just being just herself, like unapologetically, is really nice to see. My brain. You remember that weird man I met the other day? He gave me this book. He's going to teach me magic. Oh, Faye. Well, not teach me magic exactly. He said he's going to teach me how to read this book, and the book will teach me magic. I thought only nobles could use magic. Shizu shook her head furiously. No, he said that anyone could use magic. He even showed me. Can I use it too? I'm sure you can. Let's see, Oh, his little scarf is so cute. What a baby. She stuffed the book back in her bag, and then took the boy's hands in her own. He did something like this, and water came out, and I could use it. The girl concentrated hard, but no amount of brow furrowing conjured water. It's not working. Maybe I can't use magic after all? The boy's face fell. It's okay. She gave him an enthusiastic pat on the shoulder. Even if you can't use magic, I'll protect you. I'll learn magic and become a great mage and fight all the monsters if they come to the village. The boy's eyes shimmered as if he was staring straight into the sun. Yeah, he looks at her like the sun. Just you wait. Sooner or later, everyone in the village will be calling me High Mage Shizu, or Premier Mage Shizu, or whatever. Sei nodded enthusiastically. What do you think I can do? I want to help. Maybe you can learn to use a sword? I think that all the adventurers parties have swordsmen and mages, and you can distract the monsters with a sword while I fight them with magic. Oh, but using a sword means that you can get really close, and that sounds dangerous. I know. I'll make big warriors made out of rocks or earth or something. I like the origins of this, like, it's super cute. Then when things get, and I like how they carry those childhood, like, strategies and thought processes into their adulthood and, like, apply it in, like, in an adult way. Get too dangerous, you can run back behind them, and you won't get hurt. Sei bobbed his head as if it was the best plan he had ever heard. Mom and Dad and Granny and the rest won't have to worry about the hero paying taxes anymore. Yeah, Shizu, you could conjure all the magic in the world and it wouldn't stop taxes, my dear. She puffed her chest out. By the time the hero shows up, we can just tell him to buzz off. You're late. We don't need you anymore. Who needs him? Yeah, who needs him? The two children continued walking to school, discussing their rose-colored views of the future, blissfully unaware of the thorny road that awaited them. Yeah, well, that's just life, ain't it? That's life. Oh god, I forgot where we were. And now it's all flooding back again. I already saved, so I'm good. I apologize. It seems like Her Highness has been causing you a bit of trouble. Start and then... No, not at all. It was nothing. Might I ask where you're off to today? I was thinking of purchasing a dress for the gala the king announced. If you don't mind, please give me the honor of accompanying you. Is this what the fashion sense is? He gonna help us dress? Because, like, I don't need it. We got it. I know Shizu technically doesn't know what the fuck she's doing when it comes to fashion, but I doubt he does. Honor of accompanying you. I actually have some urgent business at the dressmaker in town. I'm sure they would be ecstatic if I brought them another customer. Maybe not. I have a few other errands that I need to attend to first. I would hate to waste your time. Of course, I hope that you find a lovely dress, lady. Yeah, I will now that you're not going. If you'd like, please visit Atterbury's in the Eastern District at your leisure. I won't keep you any longer. Good day. Good day. He bowed and left without another word. It was kind of him to offer, but it would have been a bit awkward. Yeah, you don't even know this guy. Shizu finally turned and started her journey out of the castle. She nodded to the guard as she passed through the side gate. After going down a long flight of stairs, she finally emerged into the streets of the capital. Now where should I go? Okay, I think I remember reading this on the itch page. I don't remember who's who. To be fair, it's a win-win because I like Faye and Liam, I think, the most at the moment. So it's just like whoever it is, this will just be fate, I guess, who I'm supposed to go with. Like, so let's go south. She made her way to the Southern District. However, after several hours, she sighed. Does the Southern District have a single dressmaker? Oh, I don't fucking know. She had walked through the district for hours. Oh my god! While she found a few tempting pieces of leather armor and chainmail, she hadn't seen a single dress for sale. I'll have to try another area some other time. I'm nearby, aren't I? I should go visit. It didn't take her long to find her destination, a somber, quiet area secluded from the liveliness of the city by a high fence. She peered inside the gate. Fate? Meant to be? I don't know. Maybe. Sunlight trickled through the gap in the buildings surrounding the enclosure, blanketing the stone memorials that filled the space in warm yellow hues. A familiar silver-haired man crouched in front of one of the monuments. A bundle of white flowers, a man after my own heart, was lying next to him. Let's forget about the grave part of it. It's fine. No, don't think about it. Leave him alone. Go talk to him. No, we know him. Go talk to him. Liam looked up as she approached. His grimace melted into a grin, and he gave her a wave. Hey, Miss Witch. Came to visit too? I did. She knelt down next to Liam, who stared at the inscription on the memorial. In memory of those who died in the service of Kingdom 1066. Although the hero was responsible for slaying nightmares around Actala, it was not a task that he accomplished alone. They had worked with countless allies during their journey. This is good, because I feel like in a lot of fantasy, maybe just the fantasy I've read, I can't say this for all fantasy, but they, like, the heroes and, like, the people who are responsible, JRPGs, you name it, like, whenever they're responsible for winning something, they never are like, oh yeah, thanks all our other allies, who helped us. I think Dragon Age Inquisition did this really well, because you have, like, a scene with, I think, the Iron Bull, and this doesn't make any sense if you don't know what Dragon Age is, but for those who do, I love that scene where the Iron Bull, like, pulls the main character into, like, the battlements and disguises the main character, because the main character is, like, the Inquisitor and everybody knows what they fucking look like. Or, no, actually they don't, because it's, like, such this big figure. And so you take the main character and he, like, introduces and talks to, like, two soldiers, and they give, like, they just talk to them like people. And he's like, yeah, that's only a couple. You're not going to ever be able to meet every person who's under you, but it's important for you to at least remember, like, a couple of them, and remember that people are giving their life and they have full lived lives, and they're not just, like, ants, like, that's such an important theme with this kind of stuff. And I think that's really cool that you also did it here, just in a smaller way so far. None of them have the hero's near invincibility. The king had briefly interrupted the celebrations for a moment of solemnity in which he had read out the names of those who perished during the hero's journey. However, that brief list only included those with a noble title, meriting acknowledgement. The rest were relegated to the small memorials situated in this peaceful but forgotten corner of the capital. And that's very sad, but very real. The ground was littered with the remnants of flowers that had long since turned brown. Caesar swept them up into an orderly pile before starting to pluck the weeds from between the cobblestones. Oh, see, such a small detail, but it just, like, speaks so much. Liam sighed. They didn't even list their names. There would have been too many to fit on here, I assume. Yeah. He's like, okay, we'll build a bigger statue. Yeah, and then they should have made the blasted thing bigger. Okay. This man has slowly won me over, like, really, like, on a real note, like, which is great, because it's, like, how real relationships work, and is something I love in dating sims, when you're like, okay, this guy's alright, like, he's fine, and then the more you learn about them, the more, like, boxes they tick, and the more things that they're just like, oh yeah, at this point, Liam is my favorite. Like, that is a great line, and he's absolutely fucking right, and he gets it, and he fights along those men, and, like, he is the hero's, like, helper or whatever, but I love it. He scrunched a hand through his hair and sighed. Shizu cocked her head to one side questioningly. I thought you were busy. What are you hanging around here for? You said your father crammed your schedule full of appointments. He did. He wanted me to meet all those bigwigs. They just so happened to all the bigwigs with daughters of marriageable age, yeah. Well, you are the most desirable bachelor in the kingdom. Liam buried his face in his hands and groaned. Earl Hilburn is insatiable. Do you even know that he has 7 daughters? 7. As soon as I have tea with one daughter, he's insisting that the next is so charming that I must meet her. If I were saner, then I might think that that he's sending me the same girl in a different dress. Jesus. I mean, that would be a strat, honestly. So I've been here, hiding from the 4th daughter. Oh, for a man on the run? You sure came well prepared. She gestured towards the bundle of flowers. Well, can't come to a memorial without some flowers. She scrutinized the bundle. There's something odd about these. While the ends of the flowers were cleanly cut, there were some faint traces of dirt on them. By the way, where did you get these flowers? Outside. I mean, you're right outside? No, my family's estate. I picked some from the gardens this morning and brought them over. Shizu resisted the urge to smack her face. You don't normally get your own flowers? No, how did you know? Usually the servants go and get them, but I was in a hurry and I didn't want anyone to know where I was going, so I got them myself this time. Liam, you usually don't get flowers from gardens. Huh? where else are you supposed to get them? Flowers grow in gardens. When you want vegetables, you get them from a vegetable garden. And when you want flowers, you get them from a flower garden. The sheltered young master. Sometimes I think he took a pile of his family's money, lit it on fire, and used it to roast his own brain. Flowers do grow in gardens, but there are groundkeepers at your estate, right? Those people go through a lot of trouble to make sure that the flowers and plants around the residence are artfully arranged. A flower garden is less than a vegetable garden and more like a flower arrangement. You wouldn't take a flower from an arrangement already in a vase, right? So you shouldn't pick flowers from garden arrangements either. When you want to get flowers from this sort of thing, you buy them from a florist. I just want to make so many Chris references here, but I'm going to refuse. I won't do it. Liam's already... and us having flower talk with Liam, also meant to be, that's all I'm saying. Luca knew the flowers when we met him. That's all I'm saying. Liam's already pale face grew even wider. His eyes started from the flowers he had oh, he's horrified. Near the words of Shizu. He seemed to be wondering if he should take them back or leave them. Oh, you didn't know, guy. It's alright. They're already picked, so just leave them. I'll apologize to the groundskeepers when I get back. Oh, he didn't mean it. It's fine. But it's good that he's learning, little rich boy. Thanks for telling me. Sometimes I think I'll go through my entire life acting like a clown without even Dude, me! Except I'm kind of a little bit more aware and less rich. But it's okay. You are a clown. No, it's okay. I mean, he is, and I want to do it, but this is not the time. It's okay. You've never gotten your own flowers before, so you didn't know. No need to worry about the small things. Is it a small thing? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yeah. He cast his head down, covering his mouth with one hand. Oh, when I was a kid, I used to pick flowers from our gardens all the time to bring to my mother. Nobody said a thing. Because you're rich. They didn't want to upset you. Of course they wouldn't. My tutors always told me that a good noble works to serve the common good. And they're right. But what is the common good? Do I even know what that is? I don't even know what happens in my own house. Yeah, it's tough, man. You're like in the thick of it. Liam sighed. Just forget it. Not me feeling bad for a rich boy. But like, I mean, he's in this weird space where he's both. You know, like he serves the common man and is trying to, like, you've done a great job of showing that Liam is super in tune with what's going on around. Like everything. Like, the good, the bad, you know, like on the grounds, like he is around. Like he gets the world, both sides. You know, like Shizu in that sense is actually, you know, like she knows like that kind of stuff because she grew up in a very like poor area and can understand like the lower class women, but she cannot understand nobles at all. Like that's been shown over and over again. Like she does not really get it. She doesn't understand that world. She doesn't want to understand that world. It is to no benefit to her. So like Liam being able to like show her that, and then her being able to show him like that is like, so they complement each other. They're meant to be. I don't care. I said it. The quest was difficult. I wanted it to end more times than I could count. But now that it's over, I miss it sometimes. At least when we were killing nightmares, it felt like I was actually doing something. That I was helping people. Now I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, you're being dramatic? No. I understand how you feel. You do. I understand how you feel. I heard that the first hero's quest only lasts a single month. Ours went on for 8 years. Even the 12th hero's quest was only 7. A couple of weeks ago, I thought it would never end, but now I think it might have ended too soon. Sometimes I wonder what happened to the villages we saved. Sometimes I think about asking around, but then I don't. Because you're scared, yeah. Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I'll hear that they were destroyed after we left. I'm afraid that we didn't make a difference. Shit. At least if I don't ask, then I can pretend that we did help, that we did save them. Are you really going to say that? In front of them? She gestured to the memorial. You're going to sit there and say that we didn't make a difference, that they died for nothing. You definitely made a difference, and they definitely didn't die for nothing. But I understand that, like, you just want to do more. You always want to do more. Liam lowered his head. I wasn't thinking. I understand. You didn't mean it that way. But just think a little before you say things. Yeah, you really should, honestly. Like, I admire that about you, that you kind of just speak first, think second. But it is important to take that page out of Shizu's book. And see, that's why they're also good, because they're so different in that way, and they can just, like, it's complementing each other, like, 1000%, like, taking a piece of each other and being better as a result of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's great. Like, you can both take a page out of each other's books and be better. I said the same thing just in two different ways. Whatever. Somebody could take a page out of my book and tell me to shut the fuck up and help me be more quiet and say less. You're the Archduke's son. You'll be the Archduke yourself sooner than you think. Your words have consequences. I don't say all this dim-witted stuff normally, really. I'm a master at hiding what a clown I am. Oh, but he's being vulnerable around you, Shizu, because he feels comfortable with you. He laughed awkwardly. Honestly, I'm just too comfortable with you. Yeah, not us saying the same thing! Me and Leo, we're twins. Okay, wait, no. Let's not say that because then I won't be into him. We're not twins. We are twin flames. There you go. That's a better term. Honestly, I'm just too comfortable with you. I can't stop myself from saying whatever comes to my mind. He stood up and brushed his pants off before resting the bouquet at the flowers at the foot of the memorial. I shouldn't hang around here any longer. I'll see you later. Please don't tell Sei that I said that. I won't. I think that Sei already knows it. Yeah, probably. That was a really great scene. I love that. Like, it's multifaceted because it works as, like, something kind of more dramatic and, like, touching and builds on Liam's character, but also builds on their relationship and files into just, like, the theme of, like, what being a hero really is, you know, the insecurities that come from being a hero, these general expectations. Like, there's a lot going on here. Like, so many threads, and, like, it all works. Like, you're building it in such a really smart way, and I'm kind of blown away by it, to be completely honest, because this is, like, the kind of writing that is done by teams of people, not one person, you know, and even that, like, games with whole teams of people, like, can't even accomplish this kind of shit. So I'm just really, like, good job, really. That took a bit longer than expected. The tailor was an unexpected perfectionist. Shizu had dropped by in the early afternoon. However, by the time they were done, the streets were completely dark, only lit by the warm orange glow from the street lamps. Shizu walked briskly along the cobblestone streets, hoping that she wouldn't bother the castle guards by returning this late. Excuse me, do you have some time? A woman sat in the entrance of the nearby alleyway, slumped against the wall. A woolen dark green cloak hung too large on her wiry frame. Her head was bowed so that Shizu couldn't see her face, but the limp tendrils of white hair... Tell me that! In her head suggested that she was quite elderly. Oh, no, okay. Shizu paused to address the old woman. Are you hurt? Can you stand? Do you need some help? Let's not assume. Do you need some help? I'm afraid that I'm tired, and I'm having a hard time standing back up. Shizu knelt and extended her hand to the old woman. My, what a kind young lady. Oh god, she's gonna suck her soul out. The old woman seized Shizu's wrist and used it to drag herself up. Oh, see, I do not trust her. Like, this is giving me big, like, old lady in Snow White vibes. Shizu grimaced. The woman's hold was stronger than she had imagined, and her long, warped nails dug into Shizu's skin like claws. It had been difficult to tell her height when the woman was sitting, but when she was standing fully upright, she loomed over Shizu. Oh god. As thanks for your kindness, let me tell you something. Oh god. She's a fortune teller. That's alright. I don't need any thanks. Shizu tried to jerk her wrist out of the woman's grasp. The other woman held tight, keeping Shizu's arm in a tight, painful grip. Be careful. The kingdom is crumbling. The day of devastation is near. Soon it will appear. It? The King of Terrors. Perhaps you haven't kept up to date with the news, but the hero already killed the Nightmare King. The woman began to chuckle. It was a throaty, guttural sound that sent a shiver down Shizu's spine. She used her free hand to try to pry the woman's fingers from her wrist, but to no avail. A hollow crown. Soon, the real king will appear. The false savior. The dream that becomes a nightmare. The white dread. The woman thrust her face in close. Her eyes were invisible behind the gnarled locks of pale hair, but her cold breath brushed against Shizu's skin like a chill winter breeze. Would you like to be saved? I don't need to be saved. Yeah, I'm not... We ain't religious. I don't need to be saved. I'll protect myself. The woman smiled. Quite right. We are the protagonists. We must save ourselves. When the time comes, it will be too late. We must not wait. We must not unmask the real king before it hatches. Also, not a whole new theme popping up in the scene. I mean, maybe that's intentional. But yeah, I think the only way that this story could end not the only way, but a way that I could see this story ending and, like, tying up and, like, a good theme for it is, like, that idea of, yeah, the humans put too much faith, or, you know, the elves, the people of this world, put too much faith into a hero popping up and saving them and putting all the responsibility into their hands, when in reality, like, everyone needs to be responsible for helping and saving, and that's the only way that you're going to keep the nightmares gone. That's the only way you're going to keep things good, is if you all work together to, like, make it work. You know, like, you have to be your own savior. And I think that's a great theme if that's what we're going for here. Like, absolutely. The old woman took her other hand and forced something metallic and slightly sharp between Shizu's fingers. Those who wrest away the mask will become the true saviors. Shizu gritted her teeth. All right, I've had enough of your talk. Let me... A black cloth whipped past Shizu's face as someone dropped down from above. A person, clad in black from head to toe, what is going on, stood up between Shizu and the woman. They were angled in the opposite direction so that Shizu couldn't see their face. They reached around Shizu's arm, holding it near where the woman was still grabbing it, and swung it counterclockwise under and around the outside. Is this the thief that they were talking about in the last chapter? The woman yelped and knelt to the ground to avoid the pain of the conjuration. When the grip around Shizu's wrist loosened, she hurriedly yanked it free. The old woman clutched her sore arm to her chest. Don't forget. I'll leave this gift with you. We'll be waiting. After the final hiss, she ran down the alleyway, far too quick for a woman of her age. She looked down at her hand. The woman had forced a small metal amulet between her fingers. The four-pointed star shape was reminiscent of motifs that were commonly used to represent the power of the divine. It was a crude ornament, sloppily fashioned from a cheap, dull gray metal. A gleaming black metal bead was embedded in the center. Shizu raised an eyebrow and shoved the strange gift into her waist pouch before turning her attention to the black-clad person. Thank you for the... When the mysterious figure turned around, she couldn't help but pause. All right. So the person was covered from head to toe in black, so that was not a single patch of skin or strand of hair was visible. The only thing that prevented them from melting into the darkness was the silver trim of the mask perched on over their face. The mask's tilted eyes and slightly elongated nose were instinctively bird-like, like an owl. And okay, now it's giving me Fae vibes. Also the color scheme. The owl held her arm in both hands and began to inspect it closely, rotating the wrists. But it's like, why would he be doing this? So I'm a little confused. Shizu was at a loss for words, unsure of how to react to the clearly suspicious individual that had admittedly helped her out of a difficult situation. Okay, my brain, the gears are turning. Also, wasn't he like sword practicing? And he's like, yeah, it's a hobby, don't worry about it. And she was like, that's weird, why would he do that? Maybe it's for his like nighttime assailant shit. Like, just going full owl man at night. Which, I mean, this is a cute costume. Again, I don't want to just assume it's him, but like it's pointing a lot of... And he also used a green bird to send her a message, so maybe he just likes birds, and he lives out in the fucking woods, and owls are wise, and he's old as fuck, and, like, I don't know, it's all kind of just, it's all clicking. Let's thank them. Thank you for the assistance. The owl didn't respond, instead, because if he did, we'd know who the fuck he was. They continued to scrutinize her arm, prodding it with gloved fingertips before starting to bend each of their fingers in turn. Shizu sighed, but she let them do as they pleased. Did he head in this direction? Before she could maneuver away, the owl grabbed her shoulders and moved Shizu into the shadows of the alleyway. They ushered her against the wall and put one index finger to the mask, where their lips would have been. After clapping their free hand over her mouth, the stranger pressed the finger to the mask even harder. This glove seems pretty thin. Be quiet, bite the hand, lick the hand. We're not licking this person. We're not biting him. He's protecting us, obviously, so let's just be quiet. Probably best not to antagonize a criminal unnecessarily. I also agree, though I don't think that's the case here. From her position against the wall, Shizu appraised her assailant. From the build, probably a man on the slender side. Bow strapped to their back, but no arrows, not even a quiver. Dagger on the belt. A lot of weapons, though. If you were really violent, I would have expected to be using that dagger against me right now. True. That would certainly be a more effective way to muzzle someone. Might as well keep quiet for now. If they try anything, I'll just burn their clothes off. Yeah. Not here. Shit, I didn't read that last part. Think he headed over here? The voices of the guards faded away. After a few moments, the owl poked their head out into the street, satisfied they removed the hand from Shizu's mouth. Shizu wiped her mouth while keeping her eyes trained on her attacker. The figure continued peering into the street, sweeping their eyes from side to side, like an owl at night. Wow. As they leaned over, Shizu's eyes were caught by the glint of silver, swinging by their waist pocket. It looked like some sort of jewelry that had been hastily stuffed into the pouch, leaving a portion of the chain hanging outside. That's... Grab the chain. While the stranger wasn't looking, Shizu darted forward instead. Oh shit, grab his chain. I thought it was... it's fine. Snatched the chain, dragging the amulet out of the pouch. She dangled it in front of her face. A bright green emerald was hanging from the chain, framed by vines of gold and ivy. This is a relic. If I recall, it's... A black gloved hand seized her wrist. The figure raised their free hand above Shizu's head. It's getting sexual. She instinctively jerked back and closed her eyes. She didn't feel an impact. Instead, the hand softly patted her head. When she opened her eyes, the owl was gone, and so was the amulet. Shizu stumbled into the street. She looked up and down before shifting her gaze to the rooftops. There was no trace of her mysterious assailant. While she was scrutinizing her surroundings, a guard jogged up to her. The clothes that he wore under his armor were damp with sweat. "Excuse me, ma'am, did you see anything suspicious pass by here?" "I didn't. I didn't see anyone." "I see. Thank you for your cooperation." After giving her a salute, the guards dashed off. I wonder what that was about. Was that a thief? Though there was something very familiar about that person. Also, Faye has shown that he's like, I can bend the rules. Like, when he went to that, like, memorial area, and he's like, yeah, we're not supposed to be here, but it's our little secret. Like, he's a little sneak to me. He's a little sneak. That's my biggest guess right now. It could be somebody else, but I feel like it would be very, very surprising if it was somebody else. Over the past couple of weeks, Shizu had kept an eye on Sei and the princess. Although she only caught glimpses of the pair as they shuttled between their various meetings and events, Sei seemed fine, much to Shizu's relief. As time passed, she tried to shake off her uneasy feelings. The princess probably didn't try to poison Sei after all. It didn't make sense. Nothing had happened. Nothing was going to happen. Last night, Shizu coincidentally spotted Sei in the hallway as he was returning to his room for the evening. However, although she waved and called out, he turned the corner and disappeared out of sight. Did he not hear her, or was he ignoring her? There's definitely something else going on. As Shizu sat in her chair that morning, mildly perplexed and perturbed by her encounter the previous evening, she looked around. She was reminded of all the chores that had been piled up while she was worrying about nothing. I'm running out of summoning stones. I should really make some more. You never know when I'll need them. Correct. I haven't had much time to clean and organize my belongings either. I need to go shopping too. Half of my stockings are full of holes. But I've been wanting to go to the library. They should have some books about toxology. Maybe I can find something useful about poisons? Make some more summoning stones. Chapter 5A. We're on the last chapter. Let me stop the recording here and pick back up.